Hello, my name is Chris Tagler, and thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to share insights on a topic that impacts nearly every school district: the effects of budget cuts on educational programs and student outcomes. School districts across the country face financial challenges due to reduced state and federal funding, as well as fluctuating local tax revenues. These budgetary constraints often force districts to make difficult decisions, impacting not only educational programming, but also the long-term success of students. School budgets are essential for providing students with a well-rounded education. They fund everything from classroom materials and technology to teacher salaries, extracurricular programs, and critical student support services. When these resources are reduced, it can have far-reaching effects on learning and development. The purpose of this presentation is to shed light on the immediate and long-term effects of budget cuts, to demonstrate how they impact educational outcomes, and explore strategies that districts can use to navigate these challenges effectively. As school districts navigated the aftermath of the pandemic, fiscal challenges became more complex. According to the National School Boards Association, many districts have grappled with reduced revenue streams, increased operational costs, and the need to support students' academic and social emotional recovery. This situation underscores the importance of strategic financial leadership in education. Navigating these budgetary constraints aligns directly with the core competencies emphasized in the Education Business Administration program. These include financial resource management, which focuses on allocating and monitoring funds effectively, and strategic planning, which involves anticipating financial challenges and creating sustainable solutions. Additionally, ethical decision-making is crucial as school leaders face difficult choices about program cuts and resource allocation. By maintaining transparency and a focus on student outcomes, educational business leaders can make decisions that uphold their district's educational missions while remaining fiscally responsible. Now that we've set the stage, let's explore some of the key factors that influence school district budgets and how those cuts can affect educational programs. To fully understand the impact of budget cuts on school districts, we first need to explore where school funding comes from and how it's typically allocated. School districts receive funding from three primary sources: local, state, and federal contributions. Local funding, which comes mostly from property taxes, tends to be the largest source. However, this can create disparities between wealthy and lower income communities. State funding, on the other hand, aims to provide more equity by distributing funds based on student needs and district characteristics. Federal funding, through a smaller portion, supports targeted initiatives such as Title I for low-income students and special education programs. There are several reasons why school budgets face cuts. Economic downturns often lead to state funding reductions as government resources become strained. Declining local tax revenues, often due to lower property values, can further shrink district budgets. Additionally, increased costs for staff, technology, and infrastructure maintenance put extra pressure on available funds. Another factor is declining student enrollment, which reduces the per pupil funding that many districts rely on. According to the Illinois State Board of Education, most school districts allocate the majority of their budget, around 60 to 70%, to instructional costs, including teacher salaries and classroom materials. Support services, such as counseling and technology, account for about 15 to 25%. Capital expenditures, which cover maintenance and new construction, typically represent 10 to 15% of the budget. Understanding these financial dynamics helps us better appreciate how budget cuts can disrupt essential educational services and ultimately impact student outcomes. Let's now examine those consequences in greater detail. One of the most concerning consequences of budget cuts is their direct impact on educational programs and student learning experiences. Arts and music programs are often among the first to face elimination during budget cuts. These creative outlets are essential for fostering well-rounded students, but are viewed as non-essential when funds are tight. STEM and advanced placement courses are also at risk, especially when costly lab equipment and materials are required. Additionally, elective courses that spark student interest and exploration may be limited or removed altogether. Extracurricular activities, including clubs and sports, are also impacted. Schools may reduce programs or require increased participation fees to offset costs. Unfortunately, these fees can be a barrier for lower income families, depriving students of valuable team building and leadership experiences. Another significant consequence is teacher layoffs. Fewer teachers naturally lead to larger class sizes, which reduces the opportunity for personalized instruction and meaningful teacher-student interactions. Research consistently shows that smaller class sizes are beneficial to student achievement, particularly for younger learners. Technology and instructional resources are also affected. Budget constraints can delay essential technology upgrades, leaving students with outdated tools that are incompatible with modern educational demands. A shortage of instructional materials can further diminish the quality of classroom experiences as teachers are forced to do more with less. As we've seen, the impact of budget cuts is far reaching and detrimental to the educational experiences of both students and teachers. Next, let's explore the implications for student outcomes. Budget cuts not only impact the immediate classroom environment, but also have lasting consequences on student outcomes. One of the most immediate effects is a decline in academic performance. When schools face resource constraints, students often lose access to essential materials and tutoring support. As a result, achievement gaps between high-income and low-income students widen, exacerbating educational inequality. Budget cuts also limit access to enrichment opportunities, including extracurricular activities and advanced courses like AP and honors classes. These activities are crucial for student engagement and personal development. When these programs disappear, students miss out on leadership development and resume building experiences that are valuable for college applications. Finally, the long-term implications are profound. A lack of advanced coursework diminishes college preparation, making it harder for students to gain admission to competitive institutions. Additionally, workforce readiness is impacted as students miss out on critical technical and STEM education necessary for success in a technology-driven economy. As we can see, the ripple effect of budget cuts extends far beyond the classroom. Let's now examine strategies for mitigating these impacts. While budget cuts pose significant challenges, adopting effective strategies can help mitigate their negative impacts on educational programs and student outcomes. Effective budget management is essential when facing financial challenges. One proven technique is zero-based budgeting, where every expense must be justified from scratch rather than carried over automatically from previous budgets. This approach helps eliminate outdated or ineffective expenditures. Regular budget audits are equally important as they allow school districts to identify inefficiencies and reallocate funds to critical areas. Data analytics tools can assist in tracking spending patterns and assessing program performance, ensuring that resources are being used wisely. Additionally, multi-year financial planning helps districts anticipate future financial needs and to plan accordingly. Given the limitations of traditional revenue sources, Creative funding solutions are essential. School districts can pursue grants from federal, state, and private foundations to secure additional funding for technology, curriculum, and other needs. Establishing partnerships with local businesses can also provide valuable resources, such as sponsorships for extracurricular activities or donations of technology equipment. Organizing fundraising events that involve parents and the community not only generates funds, but also builds community support. Finally, public-private collaborations can help schools upgrade technology and infrastructure without bearing the full financial burden. When budget cuts are necessary, school leaders must prioritize essential programs. Core academic courses and student support services should remain top priorities. Regular evaluations of program effectiveness can help districts redirect resources to areas with the greatest impact. For example, if a particular extracurricular program has low student engagement, its funds may be better used to support literacy programs. Encouraging collaboration across departments can also reduce redundancy and maximize the use of limited resources. Finally, involving stakeholders in budget decisions is crucial. Conducting surveys and hosting public forums allow school districts to gather valuable insights from teachers, parents, and students. Transparent communication fosters trust and collective problem solving. The ultimate goal is to utilize collaborative problem-solving strategies with stakeholders to reach consensus on decisions that utilize taxpayer funds while planning for satisfactory student outcomes. By adopting these strategies, schools can navigate budget challenges more effectively while preserving critical resources for student success. Next, let's look at some final recommendations and conclusions. Ethics and leadership play a crucial role in school finance management, especially during challenging budget cycles. School business officials often face ethical dilemmas. For example, deciding which programs or services to cut during financial crises can be a difficult and value-laden decision. There's also the challenge of ensuring budget cuts don't disproportionately affect already underserved student populations. Ethical leadership also requires vigilance to avoid conflicts of interest when selecting vendors or managing district resources. Balancing fiscal responsibility with educational quality is critical. Leaders must manage district budgets responsibly while striving to maintain high-quality educational experiences for students. This can involve difficult decisions about reducing certain programs or services. Finally, transparent communication is essential. Proactively informing stakeholders, parents, teachers, and community members about financial challenges and budget decisions builds trust. Clear communication fosters collective understanding and creates opportunities for collaboration during challenging times. Ethical and transparent leadership ensures that even in difficult financial times, schools remain committed to their mission of providing excellent education. Let's now move on to the final recommendations and reflections. My capstone project ties closely to the coursework completed throughout the master's program in Educational Business Administration. Courses such as financial management taught me how to conduct budget analyses and manage cash flow within school districts. Education economics provided insights into how external factors and government policies influence school funding. Additionally, operations and facilities management highlighted the importance of resource allocation and long-term facility planning. These concepts have directly influenced my approach to addressing the budgeting challenges schools face. For example, understanding financial forecasting helps me plan for funding fluctuations, while education economics emphasizes the need for creative solutions when faced with reduced tax revenues or state funding. The coursework has truly prepared me to approach school finance challenges with strategic insight and ethical decision making. As we wrap up this presentation, I want to emphasize the critical role of proactive financial planning and stakeholder engagement in sustaining high-quality education. We've explored how budget cuts can negatively impact educational programs and student outcomes. However, with thoughtful planning and creative solutions, school districts can continue to meet student needs while remaining fiscally responsible. Proactive financial planning helps assure that essential programs are protected, while transparent and ethical decision-making builds trust. I encourage everyone to support educational funding initiatives at the local, state, and federal levels. By advocating for responsible budgeting and prioritizing educational needs, we can create a brighter future for all students. Thank you for your attention and your commitment to finding a solution to this chronic obstacle to learning.